Hi everyone. My name is Keshwan Ramasamy Kannan. I'm a student at Sunny Buffalo. I'm doing a neuroscience graduation from Jacob School of Medicine. So today I'm trying to make a video on sleep and dream, and my video will be mostly focused on high school and graduate students who are more interested into learning about neuroscience, and also to other people who are interested in learning more about sleep and dream. Uh, right before I start talking about the sleep, we'll quickly brief through the anatomical structure of the brain. So these are the lobes of the brain. I'll just draw a quick rough diagram of the brain. So this is our frontal lobe. This is our frontal lobe, which is what gives you the personality, the logical reasoning. Everything happens in the frontal lobe. This is the parietal lobe. In this parietal lobe, you have your somatic, sensory processing, your 3D spatial recognition of your body, the proprioception. Here is the occipital lobe. In the occipital lobe, you will mostly have the visual processing and all those things. And finally, to the temporal lobe. In temporal lobe, you obviously you have the auditory processing. And finally, to the brainstem. And brainstem is essential for all the life essential activities like your heart rate, regulating your heart rate, breathing, your digestion, and all those things which are essential for an organism to live. Yeah. So I understand most of the people think sleep as a binary. It's either you are asleep or awake. But I'd like to tell you that sleep is a spectrum rather. Because if you want to go to sleep, you go in stages. You don't directly go from awake to sleep. And there's a evolutionary reason behind it. Because let's assume you are a deer who's there living in a jungle, and now you can't afford to go to sleep right away, because you need to make sure that your environment is safe. That is the reason you slowly drift into sleeps. So there are 4 stages of sleeps, and the first stage, okay, you're pretty much conscious. You're pretty much conscious about your surroundings and all. The first and second stage are pretty much conscious. And moving on to the third and fourth stage is what we call as the deep sleep stage, and this is where our brain waves are literally the slowest. And this comes under the non-rapid eye movement sleep, also known as the NREM sleeps. And also there's the one which we'll be talking about is the rapid eye movement sleep, also known as the REM sleep. And in the REM sleep, your brain waves your frequency increases, known as the delta waves, and that is where most of your dreaming and all the processing on all the activities in your brain happens. So when you talk about the REM, so REM is basically your rapid eye movements inside of your eyeballs, inside your eyelid. You can literally see someone who's sleeping into into a REM. You can literally see the eyeball moving. And this whole cycle of NREM REM is of about 90 minutes, and more deeper into the sleep you require less time to achieve REM. And there are about 3 to 4 cycles when you sleep. If you sleep for a long 8 hours, then there would be a nice 6 hours, then there will be four cycles of REM. So yeah, so why do we dream? So there's so many different theories, because scientists yet don't know why do we actually dream. There are different theories, but few suggest that we dream to consolidate our memory. When I say consolidate, I mean transferring your short-term memory into your long-term memory and storing them into different part of the lobes. That's why we dream. Or maybe people say that few theories suggest that dream is because we are just trying to cope up with the threat situation. Like evolutionary point of view is that you are a hunter and you're trying to rehearse yourself hunting next day. That is one thing. And also to like the most famous one, like the Sigmund Freud suggested that dream is basically to achieve your wish which you can't fulfill in your real life. So therefore so many things, and the most appropriate and like there are so many different theories, but we will just talk about what happens in your brain when you're dreaming. So dreaming, as I said, dreaming happens in the REM sleep, and in that REM is where your brain is highly active and you have the high frequency wave, the delta waves. So in that sleep, basically your different lobes, there's this miscommunication and over communication rather between your different part of the lobes. Let's say your visual is coming into play in your memory, in your hippocampus, which is responsible for your memory. That is also, contributing to your dream. Your auditory coming into play, and all those things makes a hot mess. And that mess is what ultimately we perceive as dreams. So I'll just tell you what exactly happens when we are in the REM sleep. So this is the brain, the brainstem. And remember, one thing that I forgot to mention is that when I say sleep, melatonin is the chemical which is responsible for us to put into sleep, and that is mostly triggered by daylight cycles. If you are at day, there's less melatonin. It builds up throughout the day, and it's at the highest rate before your sleep. And there's a point in your brainstem called locus coeruleus, which releases norepinephrine, which is also responsible for your awakeness, and also cortisol and all those things increases eventually in the morning. So as soon as you're in the REM sleep, you don't remember how the dream started. That's kind of really odd when you talk about dreams, but that's because you're deep into the sleep when the REM is happening, and there's different part of the brain: the frontal, the parietal, the occipital, and the temporal. And here is the hippocampus, which is responsible for your memory. This all communicate to each other, making into a reality which will never exist in real life. Let's say you'll see your grandmother sitting in a car and you're floating in a sea, and you're not and floating in sea, and let's say she says something hurtful. Let's say she won't give you the cookies. You would be more bothered about she not giving the cookies rather than your car floating in the sea. That's because your amygdala, that is your limbic system, is highly activated. Okay, and that's why your emotions holds a higher value than your logical reasoning. As I mentioned, that PFC is responsible for your personality, your logical reasoning, all those. This is kind of shut off. The PFC is in the frontal lobe. PFC is a prefrontal cortex, which is right in your frontal lobe here. Okay, which is responsible for your logical reasoning, and this is kind of shut off. And that is the reason anything happens in your dream, and you don't really care about what is happening in your dream. And deep in the sleep, as you come out of your REM into and transitioning into the NREM, there's a point. Not everyone has the ability to feel this or have this. There's a thing called lucid dreaming, and lucid dreaming is that type of dreaming where you're aware consciously that you are dreaming, and you can literally control yourself, and you can control yourself and do what you like to try out. And I would say that I'm a heavy lucid dreamer. I early in the mornings I have the ability to control my dream, that what I'm doing and what I want to do. So that is something really interesting, and not everyone has this ability. And the one who has has the ability to do the lucid dreaming has a great control over their dream. So yes, that's all for my lecture on sleeps and dream. Thank you.